Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kendall Mead, the owner of Brandt Travel, and today on Coffee with Kendall, we are featuring Collette Tours. And there is no better way, in my opinion, to see some of the fabulous destinations in the US and around the world than with Collette. In fact, two of our team members earlier this spring went on Collette tours. Both had rave reviews. One was through Ireland and Scotland, and the other traveled all through Italy. Both just said hands down, they had exceptional guides. The hotels were in perfect central locations. Everything was arranged. They knew what time to wake up, what time breakfast was available, had a lot of unique experiences along the way. And so we just can't say enough things about the reviews our guests have given to us from over the years from the trips they've taken with Collette. And so I have invited Karen with Collette to join us today to take us through this great presentation. And so I am going to share everything with her so we can get started.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Kendall, for inviting me today. I'm sure everybody's getting looking forward to the long weekend and the celebration of July 4th and our country's 250th. So this is a big deal this week. So thanks for joining, bringing your coffee along. I'm Karen with Collette, and I'm over here in Granbury, which you can imagine we've got a big celebration on the square all weekend long. And hopefully the weather will be a little kinder than the heat that we've had, but I don't think so. I'm going to share two fabulous itineraries with you today, both of which I've been on, one as a tour and the other one I kind of did my own flavor of it one year, but they're both fabulous. If you haven't heard about Collette, I'm going to share a little bit of that information with you first, and then we're going to walk through those itineraries and still give you some time for questions. All right, great. Well, again, Collette, Colette's been in business over 108 years. Yeah, it's a long time, right? So they've been seeing travel for, oh gosh, yeah, everything from school bus trips to Florida for, I don't know, less than $100 to today, even going to Antarctica. So you can see all seven continents. We do over 175 tours worldwide. But most importantly to you is that Collette is by travelers for travelers. That is our philosophy. And why is that important? Because all of our tour designers live in these destinations as well as your tour managers who really operate as your concierge. I'm so excited to get to do this with Kendall and Brandt Travel. They are one of our preferred, and I always enjoy getting in front of your clients. All right, so let's continue on here. Expertly crafted, and really we're leading that evolution of guided travel, driven by this philosophy by travelers for travelers. So what does that mean? What is taken care of while you're on a trip? If you haven't been on a guided experience, please know that all of these things are for sure part of the package. And sometimes I'm very assumptive and think people know what that all means. But all of these things, but the number one thing is the tour managers. I want you to think of them really as your concierge. You'll hear from them before you go on the trip. They are there just to share their passion, their love, their interest, and really giving you that relaxation, that peace of mind while you're traveling, whether it's during free time, which we balance that as well as must-sees, or if it's details of things that you want to see, do, souvenirs you might want to buy. They are there to assist you every step of the way. So, four-star accommodation, city center, baggage handling, you can read through the list of all of these things, but those things are really what makes up a wonderful guided tour. If you're not familiar with us for any other reason, also know that we are that company who's been partnering with Wheel of Fortune for many, many years. My mom actually said that this is how she knew of Collette when I told her I was going to start working for them. And of course, Hallmark as well. The first tour we're going to talk about today is Nashville and the Smoky Mountain Holiday. I mean, what better way to get excited about the holidays, but to take in the sights and the sounds of the holidays there in Nashville, in Gatlinburg, Asheville, and also enjoy that beautiful scenery of the Smoky Mountains and the Southern charm, right? All that warmth and hospitality. So here's a tour at a glance, and I like to show you this. I'm a real visual person, so it gives me an idea of how I'm going to be traveling. But you'll travel from DFW into Nashville, spend 3 nights. So the number inside of the circle is how many nights you spend in each of those destinations. You'll work your way east and into Gatlinburg for a couple nights, then on to Asheville for the last 2 nights, and then back out of Charlotte. So as you can see, pacing is great. We're not doing the one night jumping around, any of those kind of things. We want to find those city centers where we can see different sights and sounds all around there. This is what we call a classic style tour, ideal for the world's most iconic destinations. We have over 100 of these. Really hits the highlights too for that value-minded price and traveler. Also know our classics are averaging about 37 travelers, and this is a activity level 2. So it's very moderate. Our tour activity levels range from a 1 to a 4. So a 2, if you're very comfortable walking a couple miles during the course of the day at a leisurely pace, handling some different terrains and things like that, this tour you'll be able to handle without any problem. So now let's step back in time here at a holiday getaway that opens up in the music capital, right? Nashville. The Gaylord Opry Resort is where we'll be staying, and this property is year-round Wonderland, but during the holidays, it sparkles even brighter. And I know the one here in the DFW area, I love to go in there at Christmas time, and they have those wine bottle trees that they have in there, and they just sparkle with all the different colors. Love it. So we're going to hit the highlights. So the one of the highlights is we will be visiting the Ryman Auditorium. Okay, so this was the home, right, of the Grand Ole Opry from the early 40s till the mid 70s before they built the Grand Ole Opry building, right? But during November and December, this is where they have their holiday show. You may see Vince Gill, you may see Amy Grant with him. There's different featured artists and stuff that come in there, and we'll have all that information for you as well. We will take a tour of the famous RCA Studio B, giving you an insider's look too on the oldest remaining recording studio. Hit makers like Elvis Presley and Dolly Parton, Charlie Pride, but what's recorded here as well. And another big attraction, and I have been here. This is 350,000 square feet, Smithsonian of Country Music, called the Country Music Hall of Fame. This is the largest museum that has all of this memorabilia. So you'll have a chance to stroll through this, learn some things, read about stuff as well. You can see here costumes and recordings and instruments are all on display, really giving you a colorful uh, memories of the past of country music and, of course, its artists. All right, then we're back at the Gaylord. We're going to have a wonderful, spectacular holiday show and dinner at the resort here at the Gaylord. And then we're going to give you a couple choices. Whether you want to do the horse-drawn carriage ride, and you'll go around the building, you'll see the beautiful twinkling lights and the horse-drawn carriages, or you can take a river cruise. So you can float along the relaxing cruise waters there in the Gaylord Opry. Both of these things are included. We just like you to have a choice. Maybe you would rather get outside and see the sights outside, or maybe you want to stay inside. It's up to you. Either one, you pick. You make your choice on how you want to spend the time. Then we're going to travel east into Gatlinburg, right? This is a lively resort town. I can remember as a kid even camping in the Smoky Mountains and everything around that area, and it's just beautiful. So, gateway to the Great Smoky Mountains, and this is your home for the next 2 nights. We're going to enjoy a Smoky Mountain Christmas at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge. You'll see spectacular light displays and a lineup of shows celebrating the spirit of the holiday season, and this will be a night to remember. While we're there, you do not want to miss a visit to the world's most visited park, or at least in the US, which is the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Really interesting park too because it contains the most diverse ecosystems on Earth and the largest deciduous forest in the eastern United States. Be on the lookout for all kinds of critters, probably not at the time you're there, hopefully, but it is home to about 1,500 black bears. Then we're going to head over to Asheville, beautiful college town, and you'll be in North Carolina. And we're going to spend the last 2 nights here. So we've spent 3 nights on the front end, 2 nights in Gatlinburg, and then the final 2 nights in Asheville, tucked in here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So the scenery in between these destinations too is just incredible. You never know, you may even get some snow along the way. But we're going to experience what it's like to be a wealthy tycoon during the Gilded Age of America with a visit to the Biltmore Estates. So everybody's heard of George Vanderbilt the second, and back in the late 1800s, he built what he calls a little mountain escape. Okay, I don't know anything about little or an escape like nobody would see it, but this is what he called it. And it's set here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. We'll tour the sprawling mansion, the manicured lawns. We'll look at all the holiday celebrations, all the beautiful trees. And, I don't even know if you could count how many poinsettias. It's just all lit up with all these wonderful things. This is the largest privately owned home in the country, and this property takes up over 8,000 acres. We're going to have our farewell dinner too at a local restaurant before you make your journey back over to Charlotte and out back to DFW. This is a great way to get ready for the holiday tour and the season, as well as even do some of your last minute Christmas shopping. So, hope you can join us, starting off at the Gaylord, finishing up there in Asheville, enjoying all the wonderful sights and sounds of the holiday season. This tour is available during the 2026 season. Let Kendall know or any of her wonderful advisors. I think we have a date available. I checked right before we got on. So right after Thanksgiving, we've got some room on an 11/28 date. So if you're interested, let her know and we'll get you booked on that right away. Okay, now without further ado, this is absolutely my favorite tour of Colette's. And I did this tour back in 2021. So let's remember 2021 if we must. And that year before, all the things going on in the world. But my husband and I booked this June of 21. It was our 30th wedding anniversary. Didn't even think we were going to get to go on the trip. And boom, Croatia and Greece opened up first right after COVID. And we were lucky enough to get to go on this. So our memories are wonderful. It was a trip of a lifetime that we will never experience the same again, but that's what travel is all about. So if you're not familiar with beautiful Croatia, originally Yugoslavia, right? Now it's Croatia. It's magical. It absolutely is. You'll see medieval architecture. You'll see beautiful waterfalls as you coast along the Adriatic Sea. With Collette here, really, we're going to provide for you the best of what Croatia has to offer. This is a 12-day itinerary. Let's also take a look at the cute little mascot from Croatia. So that is called the Dalmatian coast for a reason. That's where those puppies are from, all along they call that the Dalmatian coast. So if you're lucky, one of my travelers went on the trip and she goes, look, we even saw a Dalmatian dog. So there is your mascot of Croatia. So here's how the tour operates. You guys are on the itinerary that starts off and is the same way that I did it in the beautiful city of Dubrovnik. You might have been a Game of Thrones watcher, you might have read lots of things, but this is a great city to start off with. We do offer a pre-tour extension there too, and it is fully guided. So we can talk about that if you have questions around it as well. But we're going to fly into Dubrovnik. Then we're going to get on our small ship and we're going to make our way all the way up the Dalmatian coast there to Split. And we're going to visit 7 different islands. So as you're seeing those little dotted lines, that's where the ship is going to go. So during the day, you're going to be hugging the coastline in between the islands. And if you didn't know, there's over 1,200 islands that really border that Dalmatian coast. And we're going to visit 7 of the ones that are just amazing and fun. So we're going to start off in Dubrovnik, known as the Pearl of the Adriatic. And here is the ship that we're going to get on. This will kind of rotate through so you can see the different pictures. So this is what we call a private premium ship. And this is called the MS Desire. And this will be your home for the next 7 nights. Here's some other pictures inside, and around the outside of the MS Desire. She is a new ship that we're using this year, and every year we always get something new. So we work with brokers there, we contract and get the ship. You have a tour manager with you the whole time on this ship who's giving you port talks each day as you're going into each port. Telling you about what the history is about that island, how it got its start, what kind of influences World War II happened there, what movies have been filmed there, as well as being kind of your host and your concierge when you have questions about, hey, I want to rent bikes, I want to go swimming, I would like to do this, all those kind of things. That tour manager is there with you. So you can see she's a beautiful ship. Here's some of the wonderful food that you'll eat along the way too. Everybody always says, like, what kind of food do you eat? Well, seafood, obviously. You're right there on the water. That's a bean soup on the very far right. And she said it was one of her favorite soups she's ever had. And that was on board the ship. And I'm going to tell you guys, and you know this, when you travel to Europe, it is safe to have gelato every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's just, there's no rules to it. You're walking it off, no worries at all. So, gelato, you can see their clams and mussels are just amazing. And here's some pictures from the ship. So, there's a friend of mine relaxing. You swim off the back of the ship. The Adriatic is cold 12 months a year. Okay, you're not going to go there and go, oh, this is so warm. But the air temperature in the water, and it's clear as can be, and it's absolutely amazing. So you jump like the guy on the far right did right there off the back of the ship. You can bring lots of toys and stuff, but almost every day you'll have an opportunity to swim off the back. Maybe you'll dock a little early before you'll get to the island. And there in the middle, too, that's the captain of the MS Desire. He's a tall drink of water, I like to say. Look at his feet. His feet are just, they look so big, too. But apparently, they all were like, you're the captain? Are you 20 or 18? Are you old enough? Do you have a license? But he was just a dream. And the 7-member crew that's there, they are just there to make sure you have a great time. They start off all the lunches with a song and dance and bring them out. So it's really a great party atmosphere. Know that there's only room for 36 travelers on the ship. So you are not experiencing this like a river cruise or a big ship cruising. Okay. As you know, ships are part of the destination, right? It's important that you have this beautiful, vessel that you're on, right? But on this opportunity, you're not having things like casinos, nightly entertainment, all those kind of things. This is really about the destination you go to and the experiences you have there, as well as that small, intimate, luxurious experience. Here's some pictures inside of the ship as well. Very top left, important, the bar. There's 2 bars on board. And then bottom is a picture, and that's the lower cabin, guys. There's 4 decks on this, and Kendall will have the information to help you know where you might want to be on the order of those and the pricing and all of that kind of stuff. This was the lower deck. You have a bathroom inside of there, plenty of room, but then you have decks that go up even further and even one at the very top, right? And there's the beautiful dining room as well. All right, so we're going to take in Dubrovnik, all right? Dubrovnik is a beautiful, beautiful walled city, medieval stone walls, this Baroque rooftops that you'll see here, cobblestone streets, and we're going to get to know the city with a tour. Here's a beautiful picture as you're going into Old Town. This is called the East Gate into the Old Town of Dubrovnik. One of the oldest apothecaries is there as well. And the wall, you can walk right around the top. We're going to give you some free time that afternoon after you have a city tour and get to know and get your bearings and everything. So you can choose what you want to do. Maybe you want to walk the wall, and there is a wall that goes all the way around, and the views are incredible. There's a bar too that you can get to that's called a booza bar. That's a hole in the wall. You kind of bend down and go through it, but there's beautiful umbrellas that overlook, and you see the locals just jumping out into the Adriatic. The other highlight that people love to do too is to take the cable car all the way to the top. And here's a couple of my guests who were on the ship that took these pictures that you can see the views from the cable car at the very top. So you'll have the opportunity to do that. Then we'll visit one of the, I think there's seven maybe national parks. We're going to go to Miette National Park. So this is a highlight as well. There's two lakes there. One's called the Big and one's called the Small Lake. There's also a monastery, a Benedictine monastery right there, and lots of history, lots of things to learn about if you'd like. Okay, there's even a chance to go swimming and riding electric bikes around that beautiful park as well. Another island we're going to visit is Corchula. All right, Corchula is most famous for, I know you guys know this, while you're swimming, who remembers the game? Marco Polo, is all that back and forth. Marco Polo, supposedly, okay, air quotes, this is his debated home here on Corchula. Beautiful, beautiful city. And look at the food that you just might get to eat. This is a calzone shaped like a fish that my friend had while he was in Corchula. Then we'll visit another island, which is Vis. And Vis is a very small island, really untouched by tourism and really overflowing with different types of architectural and artistry, as well as some of the most beautiful beaches. There's a pre-sold option if you'd like to do this while you're on there, called the Forbidden Island Adventure. So this is something you can either have free time to do what you want, or you can add this on. And this is an off-road vehicle. You'll have a guide with you and take you to the highest peak right there on the island, which is Hum. And here you're going to see views and learn all about the history as you make your way towards a viewing point of the World War II airport there. You're going to learn about the underground tunnels, the secrets of the former Yugoslavic army, and then we'll all meet up for a wonderful dinner. Here's one of my friends as well on the tour, but you can see the wonderful 4x4 vehicles that they use. Another stop that we're going to make too is Bisovo. And here we're going to visit the Blue Cave. This is a stunning grotto with this luminous blue glow. So you'll actually, as the picture on the left shows you, you'll be in a small boat. You'll go into a cave opening, which you will think, oh my gosh, there's no way we're going to get through that. The closer you get, the better it feels that it's the right thing to do. You get in and you have this beautiful, beautiful opening that reflects off of the limestone floor there as you guide your way and look at some of the natural, sites there as well. This is a little video that shows you as we go around the bend here, making our way to the hole that you're going to see over here that the small boat will take you into. So a great highlight, and I enjoyed that much as well. Then we're going to go and visit the next day. Now, we're doing this after you spend the night, you get up and go through the itinerary that way, guys. I'm just giving you the highlights of what you do on each island. But you do spend 7 nights on the ship, and many of your meals are included along the way. But you're traveling probably, I would say, from about 9:30 in the morning till early 2 or 3 in the afternoon, where you'll get off the ship with the tour manager and you'll visit these islands. So this is the island of Hvar, another beautiful island. You can see there how the boats are lined up too along the promenade there, and that's how your boat will park. Your boat will park probably next to some other boats similar to those. You may have to walk across those to get over to the promenade, but it's fun, it's great, and it's very close. There's only 36 of you, so you get on and off whenever you want, and everything is very safe right there. There's the beautiful port that you can see right there of Hvar as well, and of course the beautiful sandy beaches. And the when I say sandy, they're also got these really round pebbles. And if you can have soft pebbles, which I don't think makes sense, but it's not uncomfortable to walk on. They're not like real pointy, jagged things. So it's just beautiful right here. This is Starry Grad, which is a port town of Havar, and we'll spend time here getting to know the island and also enjoying some of the beautiful coastline views there. All right, so we visited all of our islands all along the way. We stopped, we've eaten, we've swam, we've learned all things. We've had time on top on the ship as well. I don't think I mentioned there is a swimming pool on top. There's a hot tub as well. So there are things to do as you're cruising along. You'll have breakfast every morning on the ship and lunch, and then meals as far as dinner, it just depends. Some will be on board and some will be on your own because that's the whole idea is to visit and get to know the islands that we visit. So then we're going to sail on to Split, and Split is our port city where we're going to dock and we'll get off the ship. You're going to learn all about Split. You'll take a tour of the city. You'll visit the Diocletian's Palace. This palace is incredible, guys. It was built back in the and fourth century. Whoops, by the Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this was his place of retirement. While you're there, you've got another choice on tour. You pick how you want to learn more about this. So you might want to go to the Ethnographic Museum in Split, and this showcases traditional costumes and crafts and culture, and giving you really some ideas all about the past centuries that have lived here. Or you can go underground and you can go and explore the Diocletian's Palace in its what they call the substructure. And this is set below the imperial apartments, and it represents really some of the best preserved complexes of this kind in the world. All right, moving along. So we're off the ship at this point after 7 nights visiting all of those beautiful islands and exploring and swimming and eating and drinking and making new friends. And we've come to Split. Now we're going to travel by motor coach over to a seaside village town called Trogir. And it's just a coastal gem. It is absolutely beautiful. The farmers market is incredible. The old preserved town is super cool. All these striking stone houses too. You'll see bougainvillea like you've never seen before. They're just climbing all over these old stone walls. Towering cathedrals as well. And that evening we'll have our final dinner on board to toast to our journey. All right. Next town from Trogir, we're going to head over to Šibenik. And this is another charming seaside town. We're going to have a tour of this beautiful city. You can see on the right, that's the Cathedral of St. James, which is from the 15th and 16th century. It is fascinating. During this time in Croatia, there were a lot of different plagues that attacked the people there. And I remember when I was there, they said that June was the time that they lost the most people in their city, in their country. So they still to this day will not have weddings in June in that cathedral, just to remember the people and be special about that because they were saved and everybody ended up being okay. But they did lose some lives. And it's a fascinating, there are pictures, there are heads that are, carved, obviously, there in the stone all around that cathedral, and they all look like they're looking at you. And I think there's only two that are women and the rest are men. So really some fascinating history. You'll see neat things like this. This is a dog dish that you'll just see along the way. So people that have either their Dalmatians or whatever puppies, they love dogs, they love cats, they love critters like that. And you'll just see the way that they just, take care of them. So you'll see this love for dog little dish there right along the way for that. Then we're going to head into Vodis. So Vodis is a seaside town as well, but this is where we're going to spend the night as well. While we're there, we are going to do what's called a responsible travel highlight. We're going to meet the owner of a family farm and learn all about prosecco production, organic, artesian products, and this is a local family, and this supports them, right? Some neat things about it. So it's a farm. So you're going to see these pigs, hogs right there. You're also going to get to try some grappa. So you're going to see everybody toasting. You're going to see vineyards. It's absolutely beautiful. But you are going to learn the history too of prosciutto. Have a nice, wonderful lunch all out there in their beautiful farm and really get a chance to toast again to a wonderful trip. Another park we're going to visit is Krierke National Park. So you went to Miette, remember the small lake and the big lake? That was one of the parks, and this is the second one. So this is a very, very beautiful, stunning park, gorgeous waterfalls, gorgeous, vibrant wildlife that you'll see all along the Krierke River. And you'll take a boat ride over to the town of Scranton, which, interesting enough, back in the day, and I don't know if he still does, but Bill Gates used to have a summer home there as well. Then it's back over to Votus, where we're going to make the most of a free afternoon and get to know the Dalmatian town's history, the architecture, and the coastline. Here's a picture of the resort that we're using there too. Beautiful pools, but you're also just walking distance to the beach right there. But a great way to relax, unwind, and everything after an amazing adventure. Then from there, we're going to travel into Croatia through the most beautiful countryside that you've ever seen, in my opinion. You'll see rolling hills, you see beautiful tunnels, you see farmlands, and you're getting to experience so much of Croatia besides the beautiful coastline there as we make our way into Zagreb. So, Zagreb, home of the necktie. So, if you've given those up for retirement, this is the place you could probably take them and cut them off there and leave them in a fire pit or something. Because I know my husband saw that and he was retired and he was like, no, thank you. I don't even own one anymore, right? But Zagreb, if you remember in 2020, had a bad earthquake too. I think it was like 5.6 on the Richter scale. And I thought, what else could happen in this world? Because I was getting ready to go, right, in 2021. But here in Zagreb, you're going to see modern buildings. You're going to see historical buildings. There's two sections, like the upper town and the lower town. And really just a ton of different histories. Like this is the Parliament building right there. And you'll see the legendary Stone Gate, which is this right here. This is the Stone Gate. And there was a terrible fire back in the 1700s. The fire destroyed much of the city, yet the gate and the painting of Mary and Jesus miraculously survived. So it had seen some disrepair, but now they really see it as a sign of divine power, and this site has become a place of worship. They built a chapel there, and this metal grill then protects the city. There's also a bunch of lamp lights all around the city, and they still to this day have somebody come and light those every morning and turn every one of them off except for the one here at this beautiful gate and this place of worship. So really, really some neat history. Then your tour comes to an end there in Zagreb, and you'll fly home from Zagreb back to DFW, or if you want to stay and go on somewhere else, I'm sure we can help you with that as well. There is a 4-day pre-extension, as I mentioned, fully guided in Dubrovnik. So I would highly recommend if you've never been, and even if I've been like myself, I would stay extra long because there's so many things to see and wander around and learn about. What are travelers saying to us about this? The country's beautiful. The mix of land and cruise is just right. So, with the mixture of Collette, our wonderful experience with guided travel, our tour managers that bring just expertise as well as being your personal concierge, there's no better way, in my opinion, to get to experience the beautiful country of Croatia. The dates of this tour are October 9th through the 20th of 2027. You're going, oh my God, that's over a year out. Yeah, it is. But you know what? These sell out. So we really wanted to get on board and get you guys in front of this because with Collette, there's no risk. Okay, go ahead and get signed up. Your deposit, $698. Your cancel for any reason insurance, $769. Your deposits are due by February 10th of 2027. So, that's still several months away. But here's the great thing. There's, like I said, 18 rooms, cabins. All right, this is a great time to get to see where you want to be sleeping, right, on the ship, and go ahead and lock that in right now. If by chance Christmas comes about your niece says she's going to be getting married that fall and you have to cancel, you can get 100% of your money back, including your insurance, by the February 10th date. So there's no risk at all. Your final payment will be June 11th of 2029. Now, this price that we have listed there, $79.99 double per person, is starting at, because your cabins are different price depending on where you're going to be. But this does include your round trip economy airfare from DFW. It includes all your transfers. So we'll do a one single location pickup, get everybody to the airport together. And when you arrive in Dubrovnik, we'll get you to the first hotel and you'll all be enjoying this trip together. All your taxes, all the inclusions that I mentioned on the itinerary, all your portage, hotel transfers, all of those kind of things are all bundled into that just very, very well. If you want to personalize your adventure, if you want to upgrade your air, we do provide premium economy and business class pricing for all those. We talked about pre-nights. Maybe you want to stay longer in Zagreb at the end. We have post nights available as well. Dining experiences, optional excursions, tour extensions. Maybe you want to do back to back and you want to head over to Italy when you're done, or Switzerland. Just let us know. We'll be happy to look at dates for you. A little bit about travel protection. We all know how very important it is, but ours is no worries. We joke around saying it's a bad hair day policy because you can cancel for any reason prior to the day of departure. As I mentioned earlier, you can cancel up until that February 10th date and even get your insurance back. But after February 10th and up until the day before, if you cancel, as long as you have the insurance, you can get all your money back the way you gave it to us. All right, not a voucher, not future travel credit. The way you gave it to us, your penalty is the insurance. You're covered for medical, evacuation, baggage loss, delay. It's really the kind of peace of mind you cannot live without. You will become a member of our Passport Club, and if you have traveled with us, Kendall will be able to tell you and her team how much you have that can be applied off of your final payment as well. You do have a domestic, make sure that you have the star for your domestic travel, which almost everybody in Texas is taking care of. And then you will need a passport. So just be sure that it's valid up until 8 months prior, 6 months for Croatia. Some countries do require 8 months. And if and when ETIAS comes into effect, we'll be sure that you have that information. And that's going to be the visa that U.S. Citizens are going to have to pay going into the Schengen region eventually. We do have a group booking page, which I was going to just jump over and show you here real quick. But that is the end of my presentation right there. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing, see if you have any questions, and then I'm happy to also show you the group booking page, which shows the different pricing and tiers as well as the itinerary.
Thank you, Karen. That was so informative. So if you do have a question about one of these tours or a general Collette question, go ahead and unmute yourself and feel free to ask away. One thing I wanted to share, a few weeks ago, some of you follow our Brandt Travel Facebook page. I had posted some photos of my family. We went to Iceland. Cannot recommend Iceland enough. And Collette has some fantastic guided tours of Iceland, which I do highly recommend. The idea that you don't have to navigate roundabouts yourself and figure out how those work in another country. Your whole day is planned out. You'll get to see all of the beautiful areas. Lots of popular areas to see in Iceland in the summer. So another good itinerary for you to consider going to see. Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
again for everyone for joining us today. We will send out this recording so you can certainly share it with friends and neighbors that might also be interested in taking one of these journeys with you. So thank you all for joining us, and bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.